Hey everybody, if you haven't seen part 1 for this What If Naruto was a Warlock, make sure to go up to the top upper right hand corner and check it out. We'll be jumping right in where we left off since this is meant to be a 2-part and I split it up for the sake of rendering and uploading. But I hope you guys did enjoy the last part, and if you haven't watched it yet, then go do that, because otherwise everything won't make sense. So we're going to be getting into it right where we left off, which was with Naruto going to bed and waking up the next morning, having named his fox familiar Suki, the silver-white fox. Naruto and Suki would then get up for the day, as Naruto would be waking up. Usually he would have his mom wake him up, with Naruto being a heavy sleeper, just usually always rolled up in his familiar's fur or under warm blankets from the cold snow. But today, for some reason, Aleta hadn't woken him up. His mom hadn't really come today. And so Naruto would wake up much later, having missed his classes. Oh, what's going on, Naruto, you thinking? As Naruto looks outside, rubbing his eyes, Suki would begin growling. What the? We would suddenly hear screams, as Naruto would notice why his parents were gone. Kurobo, his dad, would be on the ground, holding off a spear, as we see the rest of the villagers around trying to fight him off. The immortal, the worshipper of Jashin who had gone bad, a dark priestess and a mage who had abandoned the village long ago, would have returned to finish off them after he had joined the Akatsuki. This is Hidan. Hidan, why have you returned? They would scream, with the villagers now all summoning their own familiars, trying to curse him out. I never made a damn contract with some weak animal, he'd say. My contract is to our god, Jashin himself. I'll sacrifice all of you non-believers, you true non-believers, to our god, and he will give me more power. He'll make me a full immortal. Hidan at this point was not completely immortal. His summoning cycle was incomplete. He could still enter into that form, but he was not truly immortal yet. At least, that was the case. However, due to his dark magic, the way of his use of chakra between jutsu and magic, this cursed mixture of powers, Hidan would be pretty unstoppable, with him able to use a mixture of jutsu and magic. Who is that, Naruto be thinking? Naruto with Suki growling. We would see Kurobo being cut down in front of Naruto's eyes. Dad! Before Naruto could say anything, Naruto and Suki would be on the field, Suki having gotten over her fear, as Naruto would run towards Hidan saying he's gonna kill him. Kurobo now bleeding, as his god familiar began to fade. No! Kurobo! Aleta would be at his side, now summoning her crow, Kuroso, forth. Kuroso would then fly forward, cawing, as using its falcon talons and its black feathers, it would try striking Hidan, with her using a spell, blasting him with lightning. He would tank the attack, barely taking any damage. Why, brother? Kurobo and Aleta's older brother, that being Hidan, would have left the village long ago. Hidan having been a disgrace on the village, a stain that they had worked through their entire lives. Hidan was back, and he was here to kill all of them. Sorry, my sweet little sister and brother, but I need your blood in order to maintain my cycle, in order to fully become the perfect priest, Hidan would say, yawning. Stop it, Naruto would say, as Naruto then charges forward with his familiar, blasting Hidan with blue flames of the Kitsune type. Naruto completely covering Hidan in flames, but it would do nothing, as Hidan would slash with his scythe, brushing the flames off, asking if that was really an attack, looking at the child. Aleta, seeing the bloodlust of Hidan, her older brother, towards her son, would freak out. Aleta using all of Kurosa's power, telling her son to run as far as he can. All of the villagers would be trying to get the children to escape, when suddenly Kakuzu would appear. Kakuzu going with Hidan on order from the Akatsuki in order to assist Hidan in gaining this full power he spoke of. Kakuzu would begin to slaughter the children, taking some of their hearts for his own when he still needed those 7. Naruto, who had only known this life of peace, would have his knees stock still, with him having tears at his eyes. Mom, Dad. Kurobo would be down, with him having already been killed by Hidan. Aleta would not allow her son to meet the same fate, as she turns around, her eyes strained, as she then tells him, "Go! Now!" This would be when Kuros would then fly towards Naruto, grabbing him and picking him up and turning to a larger falcon, flying away. Really, sending your familiar with him? Is he really that important to you, Hidan would say. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll hunt him down and kill him myself. This would cause Aletta to go into a rage mode, Aletta's black hair and silver eyes streaking, as she runs forward, pulling out a dark blade, using magic, as she slashes at Hidan, cutting towards him and slicing his cheek. Oh, you're pissed, Hidan would say. Aletta would not be taking this as a joke, seeing her family, her villagers, her fellow home dying, as Kakuzu and Hidan would be attacking the village of Alabasta, completely wiping them out. Most of the villagers, even using magic, couldn't keep up with the Akatsuki level threat. Naruto would have Suki in his arms, his eyes full of tears, as Kuros would be cawing, pulling Naruto, as Naruto would get pulled southward towards the Cloud Village, where she had met Minato all those years ago. Suddenly, Naruto would feel a strike in his heart, as Kuros would suddenly disappear. We would see a slash, as Aletta would die. Naruto turning just in time to see her say one last thing. I love you. Naruto would be pissed off. Naruto seeing his mom die would be filled with so much grief, so much pain. His father and mother, everyone he knew dying in front of him. As Kuros disappears, Naruto would be completely enraged, as his eyes would be glowing, with him tightening his fists until his nails were practically cutting into his hands. In fact, his hair would begin to change, as silver white ears, now mixing with the gold blonde, would begin to grow from his head, as a tail began to move from his body, with him actually absorbing Suki's spiritual power into his chakra. His teeth elongating into fangs, his nails growing and cutting more as blood spilled on the snow. Hidan would turn, with Naruto being only a couple hundred meters away, as he begins rocking toward Naruto. Suki would begin growling and pulling on Naruto's clothes, as Naruto would not move. Naruto taking a few steps forward, as he's about to blast Hidan with magic. Suddenly, he would hear the thoughts of his mom in his mind, saying, "Run!" Naruto would snap out of it, him appearing back to his regular self, as Suki would be desperately pulling on him, telling him to run. Hidan began running after Naruto, saying he's going to die, as Naruto would turn one last time to see his mom and dad having been cut down, him never learning the truth about the fourth Hokage, Minato being his true father. In his mind, his parents were dead. Naruto would turn, as Suki would grow herself to a larger level, now almost the size of a wolf, as a silver fox. Naruto would hop on her back with tears as they begin running off through the snow, Hidan getting caught up and not able to follow and chase. Damn it. Hidan would then turn to Kakuzu saying, "How many do we have left here?" With most of the villagers having been wiped out. Hidan would begin his circle as he begins sacrificing them to Jashin in front of the god tree. The thoughts racing through Naruto's mind would be filled with pain. Hidan, I'll kill you. Naruto would be thinking, his mind so filled with rage and sorrow. His parents having been slaughtered right in front of him, his entire family, his whole clan, his whole village having been killed by those monsters. He would see the red cloud in his mind as he swears he'll wipe out every last member wearing that damned cloak. Naruto, as he continues riding southward, would eventually make it to the same pass between where Minato had once come. His own father, who he would unknowingly be running the same path with, will be walking through that valley, the valley between the land hidden between the clouds and hidden in the stone. As Naruto would just keep running with Suki, until the two of them would be so exhausted that they pass out. The last thoughts in Naruto's mind before he goes unconscious is he's going to become the strongest. The strongest! He'll kill them all. He'll avenge them. He'll avenge all of them. Naruto would fall asleep with tears still running down his eyes, having been completely traumatized by this point. Naruto would wake up in a bed, with Suki laying aside him on the pillow. He'd be looking around, looking outside the window to see a town filled with buildings designed way differently than his, and seeing up on a mountain cliff, stone heads? That's different, he'd be thinking. "You're awake?" she'd ask. Naruto would turn to his left, seeing a pretty lady with red hair. Who are you?" Naruto would ask, with her introducing herself, as Naruto wipes away the tiredness in his eyes, him and Suki both looking up, as Naruto meets her gaze, meeting Kushina Uzumaki for the first time. "I'm Kushina." You were out in the middle of the forest. Are you okay? You were injured and we saw you and your friend here. What happened? Naruto, seeing this Kushina, would remember his mom as he breaks down to tears, now putting his face in his hands as he just begins sobbing about everything. Naruto right now, at least in terms of clothes, is wearing a black warm coat. Underneath that, wearing a long gray linen shirt and long black jean-like pants. Naruto would be inconsolable, crying into Kushina about everything that happened. His mom, his dad, they died right in front of him, he would say. Talking about everything that happened with those people with the red clouds on their cloaks. They killed everyone in the village, he'd say. Everyone's dead. Naruto would be coughing up, not knowing what to do. With him having his entire life, his entire purpose having been wiped away. Where am I? Naruto would ask, looking around, as Kushina would then explain to him that he's in the Hidden Leaf Village, one of the 5 great nations. Great nations? Naruto hadn't heard of such a place, with his mother having not told him, or anyone having told him, about who his real father was. It's a shinobi village, so you're actually pretty lucky to have ended up here. If those guys who had hurt you and killed everyone you knew had actually followed you, we would have taken care of them, she'd say, nodding. As Kushina would be giving a kindness to this boy, not knowing why, but for some reason, seeing him reminded her a lot of Minato, the person she loved. She would pat Naruto on the head, with Naruto saying he's not a kid, you know, with her saying, yeah. Naruto's fox would actually be sniffing Kushina, as Kushina would comment that Naruto's friend seems to be noticing her friend, that being Kurama. Kurama inside Kushina would growl, causing Suki to jump back, yipping. Suki, what's wrong? Naruto would ask. Suki would curl next to Naruto, with Naruto still having tears in his eyes. Aside from Suki, I don't have anyone anymore, he'd say. When Kushina heard this, she remembers her own story, what happened when she was a kid, and her family having been wiped out just because of her clan being the Uzumaki, and how she'd been taken in by the Leaf Village. How about you stay here, she'd say, offering him a place at the Leaf Village. Naruto would look up saying, really? Well, I only would like to stay here for a while, he'd ask. Why's that, she'd ask. Well, you see, my plan from here was to go and find those guys and take them out, he'd say, his eyebrows narrowing. Well, if they're as strong as you say they were, then I don't think that'll be anytime soon. Naruto looked down, cursing his own weakness. You're probably right. Why not enter the Shinobi Academy here and learn some jutsu and how to be a ninja, she'd ask. Jutsu? Ninja? Naruto would be confused, with her offering him to show him. With him still being sort of weak, they would wait a few days, with him and Suki then going to the Shinobi Academy. Naruto walking into the classroom of Kushina and meeting Iruka-sensei and the other kids there in the village. Sakura and Ino and the other girls would be commenting on Naruto's appearance, with him looking so foreign and mysterious. Naruto wouldn't pay any attention to this as he noticed Sasuke, seeing the same darkness in his eyes that Naruto felt in his heart. Naruto would walk over and introduce himself, with Naruto meeting all the kids. Kushina explained the situation to Iruka, with Iruka saying he can sit in for a lesson, explaining how the transformation jutsu worked. Naruto would be watching this as he watches them using the hand seals, with Naruto being a bit surprised to be doing something so inefficient. I mean, Sensei, I can transform and I don't need to do any of that stuff, Naruto would say, as Naruto with Suki would then use the transformation spell. Naruto transforming easily without having to use any hand seals, just saying the invocation as he transforms into a fox girl. Everyone would be shocked, Iruka amazed that this kid knows how to use jutsu, but how could he do it without any hand seals? Kushina would also have been surprised, shocked that anyone could actually use jutsu without having to cast hand seals. What was that language, Iruka would be wondering. All the kids in class would be even more intrigued, with Sasuke just wondering what this power was, him noticing Naruto too had this darkness inside of him. Naruto would stop saying he didn't mean to stop his lesson though, as he thanks Iruka-sensei for showing him what it's like to be here, as Naruto would walk out with Kushina. So what do you think? Kushina would ask. Naruto would walk with Suki at his side, as he then says, it might be interesting, but I don't know if I could get any stronger from that, Naruto would say. Why's that? Well, because I'm a mage. I'm a warlock. I use magic. I don't think what you guys are doing is actually magic at all. For one, where was his contract? Huh? Kushina would ask. Naruto would gesture to Suki, saying, doesn't everyone have a contract? Everyone in my village did. You mean like a summoning animal? She would ask. Animal, Naruto would say. Naruto now patting Suki and pulling her up. Does this look like an animal to you? He'd say. Naruto showing off Suki and saying how intelligent she was, saying she can even understand him. Isn't that right? With her nodding. Naruto would explain that Suki is actually a manifestation of his soul, his chakra. At least he thinks that's how it works from everything he learned. Naruto remembering his teacher's lessons and all the kids who were his friends, his village, would cause him to feel a tinge of pain in his heart. Naruto would stop talking as he then says, whatever. Next you're going to tell me you've never heard of Lord Jashin, she would say. Kushina would be again confused with Naruto shocked. What do you guys do? Naruto would ask. With Naruto most of his life having spent worshipping their god, Jashin, as well as learning magic. While the shinobi here didn't really have such traditions, aside from the Sage of Six Paths, which was already a long-gone religion, with most of the shinobi having just learned jutsu for combat. For Naruto, magic was different. Magic was a part of their daily life, how they lived. They used magic to farm, to hunt, to do anything. They used magic to create things. They used magic for everything. And so Naruto was very skilled in using magic already by the time he was 12, with him turning 13 this year. Well, Kushina would say, if you ever decide what you want to do, let me know. And so Naruto would then head back to his temporary room, where he and Suki would decide to think over what they want to do next. I'll be stopping part 2 here for now, and I want you guys to answer to me, what do you guys want Naruto to do? Should Naruto wander throughout the shinobi world trying to get stronger by himself, similar to how end of Shippuden Sasuke was? Or should Naruto stay in the Leaf Village? I'll be posting a poll in my community tab after the 2 parts have aired, and I'll be giving some time to that, so make sure to go over there and vote. Should Naruto stay in the Leaf Village, or should Naruto leave the village and continue wandering around the Naruto world? Either answer will give different results, and overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this part for What If Naruto Was a Warlock. I have more stuff going on planned for the future. Part 3 will come as soon as this video hits 300 likes. I'll start working on that. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.